ılıll.
Just so everybody knows, this thing is not about to attack me. It's the only thing keeping me alive during this New Jersey heat wave. Anyway. Orville and Googlebockel over here is going to look truly, truly beautiful in more ways than one. And right up front, we're gonna deal with this scalp executioner of a back that Anguirus has. First off, the paint. It's seemingly very, very consistent. Yeah, we're gonna have a nice frosted pepperging going on with Anguirus's back, while most of it will, in fact, be brown and featuring lots and lots of detailings, as the lighting will reveal. The color palette is going to be that frostier white, tipped off with almost a banana buttercream looking yellow. Now yes, not all of them are going to be perfect. Some goopy, some not as painted as others. Look at this. Look at it. It's a mass-produced item. I expected worse. Nah, everything going on back here is truly, truly lovely, and I especially love that the spikes are not really following a major sense of direction. Out front by the neck and head, they're kind of growing towards Anguirus' head. Out here in the center, moving towards his ass, they're kind of just going up. And on the sides, they're kind of curving up and to the side in any which direction. The sculpting of the back with the additions of those spikes, which I imagine were added afterwards, if not, bro, you're insane. How did you do that? It just blows my mind that not only is this detailed, but it is painted and there isn't globs on Anguirus' back. The fact that it looks this good, I think, is quite the miracle. But then, the miracle continues onto the tail, where we are going to have all of these uneven looking spikes going off in every which direction, all the way to the tip of the tail, which is going to have some nice color blending on it. Look at that. That's actually pretty. And for the most part, a lot of these spikes are going to feature that. You know, it's not just all one solid color. They're all painted up pretty damn nicely, and I really don't have any complaints. Same for the spikes that'll be gracing Anguirus' forearms on both sides. The toes will feature a bit more of that color blending. As you can see, the brown towards Anguirus' feet, it's not exactly the same as the base color, and you can see a bit of a spray right there on the little nodules right above his toes. And you can see even more of that on his frontal claws over here. Yeah, a little bit of bangage on there, but they look great. Anguirus' little crown over here is going to be featuring a lot of the same of what we just saw. Same for his honker nose. And now we can take a look at the eyes, which are probably the best part of the figure. The life that is present in Anguirus' eye. I believe this is actually a decal. And my god, he's got a little bit of guy liner along the sides of his eyes. He's got the yellowness of an eye, which, you know, can lead to either, yes, this looks like an actual creature, or yes, this actually looks like the suit. You've got that double entendre going on there. The eyes are beautiful. I love it. They're filled with Anguillian life. And on both sides, you are going to see just such whimsical, glossy, beautiful detailage. And from the front, I'm gonna say these two things line up quite well. And I think the teeth look pretty dang good too. The only sense of mess is going to be on the lower jaw over here, where you can clearly see a bit of the gum and inner mouth paint kind of taking over one of the teeth. Not too much going on the front end in terms of befuddlements. There we go. That's nice and clear. And for the most part, you'll see a bit of the same on the other side with the gum paint kind of overtaking the tooth. Maybe a bit of befuddlements over there on the teeth, but I don't want to go scratching anything off trying to make a figure look perfect. And something I really enjoy about this figure is just how Anguirus' fangs over here are going to differ from the rest of the teeth, not just in size, but in color. Yeah, these fangs are going to more so match Anguirus' honker horn and his crown. Whereas the teeth are mostly white, the fangs will be an off yellowish kind of bone colored / eggnog. Forgive me, Anguirus, I forgot you had horns back here too. But surprise, surprise, they're actually going to look pretty damn good. Hell yeah. As for any other paint that might be skittered about on this figure, I do not believe there is anything else. Lighting and natural shading might showcase a darker color in some areas, but I assure you it's not actually there, just like the love of my dad. What is there, though, is just a cornucopia of all of these different kinds of details. Bandai, yet again, killing it in the detail game. Love that homeboy's neck looks like that truffle pile of poopy chocolate from the beginning of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And it's one of those instances where the closer you look at the thing, the more you're going to notice the tiny little dotulars in between the rolls of his neck, the foreign and almost fully organic curvature of that of Anguirus's lower jaw and throatal areas, the almost adorably puffy digits moving into the armor-plated looking scaling. It's hard to not be impressed. Paint-wise, the figure looks great, and detail-wise, he looks just as great. And I especially love what's going on with the tail over here. Light to minor differentiation between the tops and bottom. The top coming off a bit more scaled, a bit more rougher, a bit more armor-plated, while the bottom having a bit of that, but it's more so, I think personally, a bit fleshier looking. Top of Anguirus' head looking nice, bumpy, and rounded like a thing of ground beef. Inside of Anguirus' mouth is going to be painted and filled with many a detail, and even some stray tooth paint in there. Even his tongue is going to be featuring some detailage. So basically what I'm trying to say is, S.H.MonsterArts Anguirus 1972 definitely looks the part in terms of paint, in terms of detailing. The fact that his carapace looks this friggin' good, is great! It's lovely. You could probably comb your hair with it. Ah! At his natural habitual stance, Anguirus will be crawling up to just about 3 inches tall when going off of the horns on top of his head. But if you get him into that rare bipedal walking pose, he'll be standing over 6 inches tall thanks to those very same horns. Original Bandai Toys Dream Project Anguirus 1968. Out-of-date modern day movie. Can we get a 2.0 of this guy, please? X+ level modern movie. X+ level limited modern movie. Box set limited modern movie, Shokugan, Reaction, Fun, King, HG, S.H.MonsterArts, look at them, they're great together. Finger puppets. Alrighty, time for the meat and potatoes. How does this guy move? The mouth can open and close just like that. Multiple ball jointian offerings at the neck, which will allow you to look up very, very far, and then down just as far with quite a lot of pains in your palm, so be careful. And of course, with ball joints, you can go from side to side, really show a lot of impact. Do be careful of the neck over here, as the piece is going to run into the shoulders that are going to be located in the chest area. So you might see some movement in the chest, or you might see some ceasing to be movement in the neck. Is that even no, it's not. Sometimes you just gotta move the shoulder out of the way, and that piece will be able to move nice and free. You can actually get a bit of a genetic peak of the neck moving towards the shoulder blade over here if you look in the gap. So, yeah, you can actually see the piece a little bit over there. Hopefully I can brighten the footage as such, but yeah, there it is with Mr. Clicky Light. There's the neck piece, and now it's mostly gone. Science! So despite Anguirus' Carapacian involved back over here, you will be able to get the arms to swivel all the way around just like that. They can move out about that far each, not too far, but far enough. Swivel all the way around at the shoulder blade up here. You will get a swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow and forearm, very nice. Tight but workable swivel at the forearm. Up and down movement at the hand and wrist. Now I do want to be specific here. This is the work and help of that of a hinge and ball joint. There will be a hinge at the wrist, but at the hand over here, it is just a ball joint. So if you're going to swivel over here at the wrist, make sure it's at the hand itself and you're not turning the wrist, or you will tear that hinge joint in fucking half like I did to your mom last night. And since that hand is on a ball joint, you know, you can do the wave and all that stuff. You can go up and down. The bend at the wrist is actually really, really nice. And I do believe, yeah, you can even get a bit of a pivotal out of that. The legs can move out and in at the waist over here. At the legs / hips over here, you can, in fact, swivel all the way around. And the only reason that full swivel was so possible was because yeah, this leg is it's kind of loose. on my copy. A little loosey-goosey, you know? So I know that can be fixed, and I'll more than likely be doing so rather soon. We'll get a thigh swivel. We'll get a double bend at the knee and shin, moving out and in. Broken leg syndromes. Swivel at the top of the knee. Swivel right below the knee. Of course, swivel at the ankle as well. You can even swivel slightly at the foot. And now for probably the coolest bit of articulation on this guy so far. Look at that. That's an acute angle. I mean, this is just friggin' awesome. And the fact that we're even gonna get a bit of a bend at the ball of Anguirus' foot is quite nice. And the fact that you can either go like this, or even like that with the help of the rest of the leg, is great. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Look at that wrinklage. Goddamn. Double pivlion. That is nuts. And as for the tail, from the base to every other piece imaginable, you will get a hell of a curve out of Anguirus dolls. You will be able to go left, right, every which way, especially if you're not bothered by possible gaps that might be popping up over here. This is a great tail. Yet again, it seems like Showa superior when it comes to superposable tails. I am not looking at -1 in Shin Godzilla. I am lying to myself to make my argument sound better. And it's not just curves to the side, it's going to be curves up, just like that. Even curves down. I mean, you're not going to be able to Alien 3 it up with that of Anguirus, but you do get well, actually, that is a pretty good Alien 3. S.H.MonsterArts did a great job with this, and now for the final bit of articulation, which will be a torso bend. Now, as I'm sure we all know by now, the carapace is a floating piece. It is not articulated. It's just going to sit flush at the center of Anguirus' torso. But, unfortunately, I have to kill Anguirus real quick, remove that bit, and I just want to talk about the engineering going on here. We've got a ball joint at the base over here, as well as a hinge at the center, which will allow you to bend pretty far down as the joint can actually go, until you put stuff on top of it and over it. And then you will be able to bend right back, but there is going to be a stop engineered over here. So you can't exactly bend even more back with the hinge. You can get a bit further back with the ball joint in and of itself, though. And as you can see, just a floating ring. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Save for the fact that we can get nice and cursed like this. Now that's just a premium trademark hiding spot. This bend will allow Anguirus to go pretty far down. And as we can hopefully showcase, I mean, you can still go back with Anguirus. That's more so the ball joint than the hinge, but take that carapace off and the movement is actually pretty crazy. So with that carapace on, you will be able to bend forward. You will be able to move the carapace front and back, so you can kind of hide the fact that bro's got a bit of a hunch going on back there. But even more so, you will be able to showcase some bends to the sides. Maybe if I get the arms out of the way like a fucking moron, you can actually see that, yes, there is some bends from side to side, some curves. This is great. This is lovely. This is a very simplistic fix for what could have been a ball-jointed carapace split into 3 pieces. So ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, Anguirus not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk. And now I can show you that to the fullest extent of my ability. So following all of that whimsical articulation, of course Anguirus is going to have poses for 30 days of night, day, afternoon, month, millennia, whatever have you. The super duper acute 90-degree angle bend at that of Anguirus' ankle is beautiful, and I feel like you can get so much out of it. And I know the floating carapace piece might seem primitive to some, but when you start really getting into a deep detail of mental gymnastics that you and Bandai likely would have had to take to make an articulated carapace, it just feels like a headache in and of itself, both from a technical and design standpoint and the likely quality control issues we would have had to deal with paint and that of articulation. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is I feel like what we got is the best thing we could have gotten. And when it comes to the detail, the molds, the sculpt overall, it's so fucking good. Dude, Bandai go crazy with colorways with this. Do an indecisive battle where he's covered in even more dirt and blood. Do what you gotta do. I would be here for it. This feels like one grand first step for Anguirus to really, really get more. And if the quality that seasons this one seasons the rest of them, man, I'm here for it. But above all else, Bandai, hiya, singular point Anguirus. Please. I will kill who you want me to for it. That is it. That is my prologue. Nothing in rhyme. No protestations of modesty, pennies, and fires. You weren't expecting that, I hope. I am Shinrobjira, and I want you to like this figure, but I understand if you don't want to buy it because that is one heck of an asking price. I want to see more of Anguirus in the S.H.MonsterArts line. I want to see him in the action figure series. I want to see him everywhere. With that being said, good night, good morrow, see you next week. Snip.